Welcome everybody to Cape Town, or for anyone not living in Joburg, the town of Stellenbosch in the Cape, a place of class and heritage, especially this place, the wine farm and hotel called Landsrack. As you can see, 1692, this is one of the oldest establishments in South Africa. One establishment that's older is my family, the Farees. We arrived in 1688, so nah. Something else that has history and prestige is BMW. Established in 1916, it doesn't quite have the history of Landsrack or the Farees, but it has certainly left a bigger impression on the world, especially their motorcycles that have graced roads of all kinds since 1921. While other manufacturers have been jumping aboard the heritage bandwagon, BMW has never really pulled that thread, despite having more heritage than many of those who have, until now. This is the R18, a bike based on BMW's R5 from 1936. It is effectively BMW's go at the classic cruiser market, and they have brought us here for its launch. Not only does Cape Town have class and heritage, but some of the best sights and best roads in the world. It's sort of a geographical representation of the R18 that also represents heritage, sights, and good riding. As far as looks go, the R18 represents every motorcycle BMW built for more than 40 years, in that you can have any color provided it's black. Beyond its dark exterior, it joins its ancestors being mostly made of steel, having long wheel fenders and having a low, sleek design, something that was considered sporty in the 1930s but classical in cruising today. And that's the whole impression it gives. Well, nearly. Everything on this bike looks classical except the LED light, and the LED light is important because if it didn't have an LED light, people just think you're riding an old bike. This is the equivalent of a sort of macho man wearing a fancy suit and tie and just having like a bit of a tattoo sticking out of the cufflink, just to let everyone know, yeah. And that classical appeal isn't just a facade for appearances. It feels genuinely like I'm riding something old. This doesn't feel like a classic bike, but a classic bike where kind of everything works. I love that, feel that motor, ah! If this thing had a TFT dash, it would be ruined. I'm so glad it doesn't. The dial, everything just looks so good. The looks of this machine are eye-catching, but they aren't the main headline grabber. That would go to that motor, the 1802cc air-cooled Boxer Twin, the largest Boxer Twin BMW have built since they started building Boxers in 1923. Of course, the effect of this Colossus is noticeably profound. Right, push button, key fob's in my pocket, does a windy thing, lights come on, push button to start and whoa! Oh, that's a lot of that way. 800 cc's of that way. Okay, let's go. This motor is just about torque. You just hear it's got this low rumble to it. It has a rumble, but it is a Euro 5 rumble. Although the BMW aftermarket catalogue offers a Vansenheinz replacement. And that should make it sound a bit better. Yeah, I need some of those. The gear change, like I mean, okay, it hasn't got a quick shift, obviously. I mean, that would also ruin it. But it sort of has this kind of very sort of satisfying kind of metallic clonk. Clonk, there we go, in gear. Yes, it's not clunky as it won't change gear. Changes gear beautifully. There we go, down a gear. But it has this very satisfying clonk. If that were on an S1000 or an adventure bike, I'd be going, what is wrong with this gearbox? Yet, it's all about context. Here it works. Of course, a big air-cooled twin isn't about flat-out speed. It's all about torque, something it has a lot of. 158 newton meters of them to be exact. That begs a serious question.
Speaking of gears, I don't know why it has so many. It's got a 6-speed gearbox. What for? I mean, the way this thing makes torques is it's like a steam engine. You need first gear to pull off. You need 6 gears like a smooth overdrive for like freeway cruising. And then you need 4th gear, which is for everything else. Look here, 4th gear. I'm doing 50 kilometers per hour. I open the throttle. Whoom, forward we go. It's just torque, it just cruise like a steamship.
The boxer motor feels glorious when twisting the throttle, but it does pose a logistical challenge.
The CT is kind of weird. It's sort of like, I feel like I should be more in like of a chopper kind of position, but I can't be because where the chopper the sort of forward sway foot pegs would be is 900 cc's of cylinder. Yeah, so that's not going to work. This is a cruiser, so it should, cruise, but the way you're sitting with your legs sort of in like that, it kind of makes you sit on kind of the hard bits of your backside. I suspect that might be a problem soon.
Cradling that motor is a steel chassis that looks great, however it does weigh a bit. Actually it weighs a lot, 345 kilograms. Again, that would sound like something massively detrimental, but not so in this instance.
This bike feels wonderfully balanced. I mean, it weighs more than the moon, but it's such a kind of balanced, low center of gravity. Suspension works so well, so it kind of doesn't give you that heavy feeling, which is amazing actually, because I'm having a great time. Brakes are sort of predictable, everything is sort of great, but the problem is with everything being so low, is that it kind of means that the foot pegs have to be low too, very low. And that kind of makes problems. I mean, watch. Oh, there we go. Touch the ground. Oh, touch the ground. That's okay. But the problem is, especially corners, places like this, is when you're going through a corner, the foot peg's on the ground, and then the corner starts tightening. You got problems. Through this corner over here, foot pegs down, oh, running wide, I can't, sort of that's it, can't lean anymore. But you know what, I'm looking at this all wrong. I mean, I'm riding, this is front shook pass, I'm riding it as though I'm on a super bike, which is fast, you gotta go fast. I'm not on a super bike, I'm on an amazing bike. I'm on a cruiser, I'm on a proper classical feeling cruiser. Classical with all the modern amenities. And I feel it. I feel sort of like cruiser. Gotta cruise. Just gotta have fun. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
BMW have overcome every challenge to build something that represents nearly 80 years of heritage. It looks brilliant, it rides brilliantly, and it makes you feel like a motorcycling warrior from yesteryear. There seems to be no downsides. Well, except maybe one. Remember we mentioned the seat?
Oh. 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 Ow. 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 Ow.
Strange to see Donovan on a cruiser, and I'm pretty jealous because this is a big move for BMW and is aimed, obviously, at taking sales from Harley Davidson and Indian Motorcycle. Hopefully, I'll be riding the bike in Germany early next year. BMW obviously wants a slice of that big old American sales cake, and it looks like it has got the recipe right with the R18. They've just announced the classic version after this first edition model, which gives you a windshield, extra lights, footboards and saddlebags for a bit more tourability. Otherwise, you've got the same engine and chassis that Don was so impressed with on this launch. I've seen the bike in the flesh and it is, I think, very good looking and, as you'd expect, fantastically well built. The engine is huge, incredibly clean in terms of its appearance, not too much visible plumbing, and it is a great centerpiece that constantly draws your eye towards it. I love the overall sleek look, the simple black paint with the white pinstripe, just like the original R5. I love the exposed shaft drive. No idea how they got that past the World Safety Police. The classic fuel tank shape, the way the chassis and swing arm meet to give the air of a hardtail, the fork sleeves and the raised 3D badging in places instead of decals, it's all just so classy. It really is a lovely bit of kit, but at a base price of 299,000 Rand, so it should be. The model Don Road comes in at 364,000 Rand. Now that might sound like a lot, and I suppose it is, but compared to its natural competitors from America, you'd have to say it's actually very keenly priced. Couple of little niggles though. The 3 riding modes, rain, roll and rock. Rock, roll, rock and roll, really? Come on BMW, that's way too cheesy and, well, Disney-fied for you rational, sensible Germans. And one other thing. After telling us that we needn't bother mentioning that bikes like the F900R are built in China because the build quality is traditional BMW, why are you pointing out quite so obviously that this premium product, whose most important market is undoubtedly the US of A, is Berlin built? You can't have it both ways, I'm afraid. You might as well brand this bike as not Chinese built, but that wouldn't be very politically correct, would it? Anyway, great bike it seems, and I can't wait to ride it myself. After the break, a bike museum on top of a mountain.